of Lincoln, America.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bockelvin and Enrique Clary.
This is the Ticket Water Cooler. We're here on a lunch hour. We are every weekday, but maybe not this weekend. Maybe that's a day to promote that, I suppose, because we might not be at the same time every day this week. But we'll pop in here and there. We have, of course, a big week of state basketball coming up, girls' state basketball tournament, and we're going to call just about every game for Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Nope, every game.
Every game.
Every game from PBA.
Every game for PBA. So that's what you could look forward to as the madness begins. It's the last day of February, so we can say it. The March Mayhem begins.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Tomorrow.
And it does.
Shout out to March.
That's right.
Even though it feels like it started already this last weekend, the basketball was very good.
It's funny because we were talking about the buzzer beaters, and we named like 4 of them, and we forgot the Arizona State one. I mean,
We did.
That's how many buzzer beaters there were, though. You were just kind of running through it, and it's like, man, this is some good basketball this past week.
Just think of a game, and it was probably a buzzer beater.
It was that good. And hopefully Nebraska, Michigan State is just as good tonight. Or, I mean, we'll take a blowout if Nebraska wants to give it to Michigan State like that. It is senior night, of course. Derek Walker, Sam Greasel, Emmanuel Bandamel, your seniors walking, as well as K-State, Tominaga. Everybody, panic, fear. What does it mean?
Everyone freak out.
Yeah, everybody freak out. The Tominagas, of course, are in town. K-State is a senior as far as academically, so he's going to go ahead and do it. Keeping in mind, again, Derek Walker's already walked a few times, so this will be his last.
I think this is his third time walking.
Third time walking. So it doesn't mean that K-State is going to be gone. Of course, there's going to be a big decision about that coming around the corner at the end of the season, and we'll kind of follow that along. Also, pay attention to Iowa, Indiana tonight. The other Big Ten game, Indiana ranked, hopefully can take care of the Hawkeyes. If Indiana wins, the finale versus Iowa might get Nebraska out of the Wednesday game because Iowa is 10-8. Nebraska would have to win tonight and then beat Iowa, and hopefully, again, Iowa loses tonight, and they'd both finish 10-10, and Nebraska would sweep the season series, so they'd get the seeding over.
Things are happening.
Good
things are happening for Nebraska as long as they win.
As long as they win.
First things first, you got to take care of business against Tom Izzo and Michigan State. And although it is a down year for Michigan State, it is still a solid team coming down to Lincoln from East Lansing. So no easy pickings. You already saw what happened the last time Nebraska faced Michigan State. Hopefully they right the ship this time and not be on the losing end, or at least not be on the losing end so badly to this Spartan team. And speaking of basketball and Nebraska basketball, the all Big Ten teams were announced for the women today. Okay. Jazz Shelley, first team according to the coaches, second team according to the media. Alexis Markowski, second team coaches and media. Izzy Bourne, honorable mention coaches and media, and Sam Hybe, honorable mention media. So there is that. Shelley this is coming from our good friend Abby Barmore at On3. Shelley is the first Husker to win a first-team award under head coach Amy Williams, and Markowski is named to the All-Big Ten second team for the second straight season. Bourne and Hybe are both 3-time All-Big Ten award winners.
Congratulations to them. Heck of a season that they put on, and they've got their own game against Michigan State, right? Coming up Thursday?
Yes.
Wednesday. Is it Thursday?
I believe it is.
Because they're the 8-9 game.
Yeah.
I think they'll play Thursday. So lots to look forward to in tournament action. Yeah, double check on that.
Yeah. Come on. Where is it at? You darn thing.
Internet. It's only reliable when you don't need it.
Yeah, it's just messing with me right now. It's just what are you doing right now? What are you doing? Okay. They play March 2nd, so Thursday, against Michigan State at 11:30 a.m. It looks like they're the first game of the Big Ten tournament is the 8-9 game. And then the winner of that game goes on to face Indiana, who is the 1 seed in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, and you were saying just like yesterday, that would punch Nebraska's ticket, all but punch Nebraska's ticket in. I was trying to look at bracketology. Nebraska in the first 4 out right now,
yes,
according to ESPN. third in the first 4 out. So if you look at it that way,
Michigan State in the next 4 out, the last team in the next 4
That's
out.
true.
If Nebraska is able to win that, and you get a couple upsets in, so if they're just able to beat Michigan State, and there are a couple upsets in conference play, Nebraska could find themselves getting into the NCAA tournament. If they win this and beat Indiana, they're all but in. They're in regardless. So first things first, again, for both the men and the women, beat Michigan State.
That's right. Yeah, and Michigan State, for what it's worth right now, according to bracketology on the men's side, and we're jumping back and forth, but a 7 seed right now. So they're pretty well in. Like you said, not their best season. It's kind of in the mix there with a lot of the Big Ten. There's a few teams that are going to be fighting once they get to the tournament. The Big Ten tournament to get in. Michigan State does not appear to be one of them, but their seeding can certainly fall, and maybe, who knows, if they lose a few games, they could be kind of getting a little bit nervous as Selection Sunday comes around. As you mentioned, it's a team, though, Michigan State, that is coming off an epic fumbling of a victory. Yeah, collapse against Iowa. Iowa, of course, hit all those threes. They were up. Michigan State was up like double digits with around a minute plus to go. And Iowa gets back to that game, ends up winning it in overtime. And again, obviously Nebraska will have to take on Iowa for their final game. First, you got to get through Michigan State. But do you see that as something this deep into the season that's going to be bothersome to Michigan State, or do you think it, this deep into the season it's kind of
definitely
back up?
No, that definitely is something, because they had that game all but won. They were up by 10 with like a minute left.
Yeah,
somehow found a way to fumble that game away. We were watching the game while we were eating at Lincoln's Pub, and we're just kind of sitting there, and I just thought, I really want Michigan State to win, because I don't want them coming into Lincoln upset. I don't want them coming into Lincoln angry that they let this game get away. Unfortunately, they let the game get away, so they're coming into Lincoln a little bit mad, because every win counts this late in the season if you're trying to better yourself in the NCAA tournament. Like you said, they're all but in, but maybe they win that and they go on a decent run in the Big Ten tournament, and they get themselves a higher seed. They don't have to face, the hardest teams right on day one of the NCAA tournament. So every loss stings this late in the season. So Michigan State's going to look in here, going to come into Lincoln looking to put up some style points and better their rankings with a dominant win over Nebraska, if they can get that. Nebraska just looking to continue that momentum that they have going right now. I believe it's 5 straight wins for Nebraska, which, when is the last time they won 5 straight games? When is the last time they won more than 2 straight conference games?
Well, I think they won 4 and 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time they won 4 straight conference games?
Yeah,
It's been a while since that's happened. So this team is kind of in uncharted territory and in uncharted waters right now. But hopefully they can continue to go, even if they're going up against a Hall of Fame coach in Tom Izzo and a down Michigan State squad, but still a really good team.
Well, and it's just been an interesting season, obviously, for Michigan State. The tragedy that happened on their campus had them postpone the Minnesota game. And I don't know if they're going to make that up or kind of what the plan is there, but they're 1 game behind everybody else as far as playing a game. So they're 9-8. So even statistically, you kind of look at it there. They do make up that game against Minnesota. You kind of figure they'll probably beat Minnesota like everybody else does.
You would think so.
But they are kind of in that grouping there where Nebraska, statistically is not behind them enough, where they could still finish above them in the standings as well. Nebraska's done a good job of keeping home court, protecting home court, 11-3 at Pinnacle Bank Arena this year. On the opposite side, Michigan State 4-6 on the road. Now they are 17-11 overall, and they, again, like you said, maybe not the best Michigan State team that Tom Izzo has had there. But they were kind of punching early. If you remember early in the season, they're Michigan State, brand name. They're playing some of the best teams. They knocked off Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. They lost to Gonzaga by 1. They beat Kentucky by almost 11. They beat Villanova by 2, and Villanova, even though they're hovering around 500, I think they're a game or 2 over 500. They're peaking at the right time. They beat Alabama, or they lost to Alabama, which at the time was like, oh, how do you lose to Alabama? They were ranked 18th, but then they've flirted with being number 1 season. Beat Oregon. They had a really strong start to the season, just like you're saying.
Yeah. The only glaring loss to Notre Dame. Somehow this team lost to Notre Dame. It was really bad this year.
70-52.
Yeah, they got killed. And Notre Dame is awful this year, to the point. Mike Bray not retiring now? Is that what the deal is?
So he was never retiring.
He was just done at Notre Dame.
Yeah, if you go back, the way that Notre Dame framed it, it looked like he was retiring. But if you go back and look at the interviews and the quotes that he gave, he just said it's time for new leadership at Notre Dame. He never said I'm done coaching. He just said I'm done coaching at Notre Dame. So he's not retiring after the season. He's just done coaching at Notre Dame. So he'll be looking for another job. He still wants to coach. So we'll see what jobs open up and where he gets hired. Speaking of hiring and coaching movement, apparently Nebraska's old coach, Miles, is possibly in line for the Cal job if they fire their coach.
Which is interesting, too, because it's kind of funny. It's one of those situations. Mark Fox did the same thing that Mike Brey might be doing at Notre Dame, where Georgia had him for like 7 years, and they're like,
Okay,
you don't have to retire, but you can't coach here anymore.
Yeah, we don't want you here
But Cal, for some reason, just seems to be all right. Well, we'll just take somebody's over, leftover, somebody's Power 5 coach that didn't work. So Tim Miles back in the running there, and I'm excited for him.
He's doing a great job.
Oh
with
yeah,
San Jose State,
which was as was much publicized around here. And I'm sure, maybe less publicized because less people cared around there. But that's a difficult job. And he's done a very good job of kind of turning it around. So, that along with his Nebraska resume, I think is going to give him the California job or get him into contention. I should say just get it. They haven't fired their coach. Also, they're going to have to go through a search there. But I think he certainly deserves another shot. He just had problem, and he was great at recruiting transfer players. As we saw, Trent Petaway, just to name a few, Andrew White III and James Palmer. I mean, some of those guys, really helped those teams. But keeping them and keeping, the dynamic of those teams together seemed to be a problem for him here. And ultimately just getting to that one NCAA tournament. Should have been two.
Should have been.
But just got that one. And you wonder if he would have got the nod for the second one, what kind of momentum there would have been into that final season where he still had, a pretty good nucleus, but it seemed like his seat was rather hot, and he just wasn't able to get too many recruits in to back them up. And of course, then you had some injuries that derailed that team a little bit, and then they had they ended up having like Johnny Trueblood and those guys make a little fun run there at the end.
Just everything went to poop.
Yeah.
And they had to bring some people in that normally wouldn't see much playing time. But it was fun at the end. Unfortunately, it didn't get to continue as he got fired.
Yeah. And what was the the online? Go get a 6-pack of beer or something.
Yeah.
There's some pictures on Twitter. I don't know if that was actually that day or that was just from earlier.
I feel like it was earlier or something.
Yeah.
I don't think.
We know Tim likes a beverage here and there. Yeah.
It was just like, well, I'm done here. Let me just go get a 6-pack and just knock this back real fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But again, big night for Nebraska. That game doesn't start until 8:00 tonight. Senior night type of festivities starting at 7:30. So you want to get there. I think that's always a special send off to some of these guys. Obviously, Greasel, a great story of a Lincoln kid that came back and now is helping this team in this program, hopefully the next level. Derek Walker, the fight that he's had here at Nebraska. Remember being suspended. Couldn't play for half his first season. Coming from Tennessee, and then we've seen publicized again over the last couple of days. Sat out the first couple games this year just because he was in a dark place, and now has rebounded and had just such an incredible season. And it's always been, last couple of years he's been really good field goal percentage wise, but you feel like he's stepped his game up to a next level to the point that they kind of, he's the base of their offense. Put him at the top of the key and let him go to work one way or the other. Let the defense kind of pick their poison there. One of those poison is a jump shot is not part of the poison. He still
no.
But
it would be nice to add to the recipe.
It would be, and maybe he'll do that moving forward. I'm sure he's going to have plenty of opportunities at a professional level coming up next year. But the senior night, so send off to those guys. Obviously, Manuel Bandamel as well. A guy just came in, and you wonder if Gary and Bandamel were healthy. A few different things. Would this team kind of be forced into relying on Kamanaga enough or whatever the team dynamic that's had Lawrence and those guys stepping up and playing, would this team be where it needs to be? Or if those guys did step up,
would they be in a better spot?
And then you could really see this roster coming together, which is really interesting too, because it's like, I think at a time, of course, we all know the season of this Nebraska basketball season is, a lot of fans are kind of close to like, well, we'll still go because it's Nebraska basketball, but there's not a whole lot of hope left into, what has evolved into. Man, this is a pretty good roster, pretty darn good roster they actually had.
Yeah. Like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually, from the beginning of the season, thinking, it's not the deepest roster, and you have your starters, you have a couple guys that are coming off the bench, and now you're looking and you're like, you know what? There's actually a nice little nucleus here if you were able to keep Bandamel and Gary healthy. I mean, you don't know where this season would have gone. You don't know, like you just said, if Tominaga would have had his, explosion in the middle of the season where he was going off for averaging 25 points for about 4 or 5 games. You don't know if that would have happened if you would have kept those two healthy. But if you did, and that did happen, and you still had everybody giving you all these contributions, Sam Hoiberg giving these contributions, I mean, you could only imagine where this team could have been.
Yeah.
It's also one of the last 4 games being played today, along with the Nebraska Michigan State game.
How late it starts.
Yeah, starts at 8. If you want to, after this game, you can catch Colorado State at San Jose State.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
10 miles.
There you go. 10 o'clock. CBS.
Yeah. Tim Miles battle versus the old former Tim Miles school. That's a good one. I actually might watch that one.
There you go.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the NFL. A lot of quarterback decisions to be made this offseason. We'll jump through some of those. Also, Pete Maravich is what at one time thought to be untouchable all-time NCAA scoring record. There's a guy out there narrowing in on it. So we'll talk about that coming up next year on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years, changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Let me share something to make life just a little easier. It's just one word, Bryant. If we need service on our furnace or AC, we call Bryant. Same thing goes for an electrical issue. If I have a problem with my faucet, a toilet, a drain, or a water heater, I don't need to know how to fix something. I just need to know who to call. And at our house, it's Bryant.
Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Just one call. 467-1111. Remember, we do whatever it takes.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day. We may see some clearing late. We'll see a high of around 50. Winds out of the southeast around 10 to 15. Clearing skies tonight with a low down to around 30. We'll see an increase in cloud cover late in the day tomorrow with a high once again near 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests, such as the fecal immunochemical test, FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use with no prep, completed in the privacy of your own home, and often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health risk to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Doing so will help you protect your family and yourself.
Can you believe all the empty car lots? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much to make you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuff. Come out to Price Right in Westo, and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Look at your car. It's filthy. It probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewirado.com. See what Renew can do for you.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Nixon. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Lose fat, build muscle, gain endurance. Whatever your goal, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help you achieve it. Farrell's offers group fitness for all levels in a fun, welcoming environment. Their proven method combines kickboxing, cardio, and strength training to get you in the best shape of your life. You've heard all about their 10-week challenges, but you can join as a member anytime. Head to fxblincoln.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill, and now in the Meadowlands Shopping Center at 70th and Vine.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As we were talking about big day for Nebraska basketball, senior night at Pinnacle Bank Arena. So if you want to stay up and have some fun, that's the place to be tonight. And you are going to have to stay up and maybe ask your boss if you can be a little bit drowsy tomorrow because the game starts at 8 o'clock. And you don't want to be one of those people that leave early just because of the, beat the crowd.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Don't beat the crowd. Be there for the whole thing.
That's right.
I don't know when they're going to do senior night, if they're going to do it before or after.
Well,
I do know the
they're gonna
halftime
do-
entertainment.
Oh, the halftime. That's right. Red Panda's in town. Yeah. The best halftime performer in the nation.
Damn straight.
Don't let Nick tell you any different.
She's goated. I don't care what anybody says. No matter what your friends tell you, she's the best.
She really is. I mean, there's not a whole lot of great halftime entertainment acts that can that make you feel kind of nervous, but not so much so that you feel like your life's in too much danger.
Go ahead. Name another person that can do what she does. You can't.
Yeah.
Go.
The guy that stands on chairs.
That one terrifies me.
That one I don't like.
That one scares me.
Yeah.
There's
scary.
There's very, very, very little chance for death with Red Panda.
Yeah.
If she falls just the right way and like hits her head or something, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But like him, like if he's off by an inch, a centimeter, and that chair just kind of wobbles, it's over. Good night, George.
Is it less impressive what he does? Do you think more people could? I mean, he does like
No,
he's
it's
an
no,
acrobat.
no,
so
it's
like, does,
extremely
like,
impressive.
handstand
No, it's
stuff.
extremely impressive what he
Yeah.
is. He is number 2.
Mm.
She's number 1. He is number 2.
And how about the Chihuahua on the best one?
I mean, it's okay.
Not number 3.
It's okay. I mean, I like dogs, so it's
Is
okay.
it better than the dogs that catch
Oh no, the
frisbees?
frisbee dogs are better.
But that's just what every dog
The
can
frisbee
do.
dog, no, the frisbee dogs are better because they're going full speed. Plus, they're wearing little booties.
Oh yeah,
so that
Oh,
makes it
that's always
cuter.
fun. I
Because
just
they don't
think
want to
it's-
scratch up the floor.
Shout out to whoever's in charge of those halftime shows. Because I remember at the Bob Devaney Sports Center when it was for Husker men's basketball, it was for some reason it was just always kids getting in overdressed like Husker stuff and racing down the court. Like that was the go-to. That's all they really had. So
Like, oh, let's get some kids to play some basketball.
yeah, there we go. What's funny than kids in oversized clothing? That's
Perfect.
hilarious every time. Let's do it again. Speaking of basketball, though, again, I wanted to mention this because I don't know if it's getting enough recognition, but maybe I don't know. It's interesting. Antoine Davis of Detroit Mercy, the Detroit Mercy Titans, who are 13-18, is now 64 points away from Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record at the NCAA level. Of course, Antoine Davis is benefiting because this is his 5th year. He got the COVID year, which for some reason, and I'll never understand, they played the entire year and said, no, that didn't count because the tournament didn't play.
Never mind.
Nebraska literally played their entire season.
And then they were just like, you know what?
That didn't
No.
count. That didn't count. So Antoine Davis, who had the choice, because of his scoring profile. By the way, he leads the nation with 28.1 points per game this season as well. He had the chance. He considered transferring to BYU or Georgetown, Kansas State, or Maryland. Ultimately decided just to stay at Detroit Mercy, where his dad actually coaches. His dad, Mike Davis, you might remember, was a former Indiana coach.
Okay.
So that's who we're working with here. He's already the all-time leader in made threes in the NCAA with 578. It's a lot of threes throughout his career. But again, that's in 5 seasons. He's 64 points away. Pete Maravich's record, by the way, he only had 3 years to compile his numbers because back then freshmen couldn't play at the varsity level. There was no 3-point line. So you wonder how many more,
twos and ones.
how prolific he would
Ones
be
and
there.
twos.
Pete Maravich averaged 44.2 points per game across 3 years. It was always about the same, about 44 points per game every year. Which is crazy because when we talk about Wilt Chamberlain's records from around that same timeline, we just go, well, he was bigger than everybody else. Nobody was really getting good. Pete Maravich was 6'5". It's not like he was.
It wasn't bigger than
he
everybody
didn't
else.
just have that. Yeah,
He was
a land of giants.
He was above average, but he wasn't
6'5". Yeah,
he was above average, but he wasn't like towering over people.
Yeah, and of course he's known, for his kind of trick shots and stuff they could do,
dribbling between the legs when nobody else was doing it.
Yeah.
Like the things he was doing were probably like normal now, but at the time it was like, what is he doing? He's a witch.
Yeah, he was very incredible. Now his LSU teams
weren't
very good. They never made the NCAA tournament, and he was able to shoot like 50 shots a game. I mean, that's why he was able to compile.
He's the best player on the team.
Yeah, give him the ball. But still, it's just amazing to think anybody could average 44 points per game. But for Antoine Davis, he again needs 64 points. He's averaged 34 in the last 8 games.
No.
His team is like where is it? 13 and 18 or something like that. So
so they're not good.
They're not getting postseason play.
Good.
And the Horizon League tournament starts tonight.
Good.
Number 8, Purdue Fort Wayne is in the way. 9 seed. Purdue Fort Wayne against the number 8 seed Detroit Mercy Titans.
Please, Purdue Fort Wayne, beat them.
Are you cheering against Antoine Davis?
I'm cheering against Antoine Davis.
You want Pistol Pete to keep the record.
Pistol Pete did it in 3 years. This guy's going to do it in 5. It's not the same. It doesn't ring the same. If somebody does it in 4, I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He's doing it in 5. No, doesn't ring the same.
Kind of like Adrian Martinez's totals.
He did it in 4.
No, I'm talking about his totals.
Oh, his totals, like
career.
overall for a career.
Remember, because it was going into his final year. It was like wherever he goes, he's going to be like only like 4 guys have ever had this many yards.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
Nice.
That's because he played 5 years.
No, his still counts because I love him.
No, his counts. Okay.
There's different levels to this. All right, you got to understand that.
Yeah. So Antoine Davis obviously gets the benefit of 5 years and the 3-point line, which he fully took advantage of.
Yeah, apparently.
Pistol Pete I don't know if he took advantage of, but one thing to consider is Pistol Pete. The SEC wasn't integrated when Pistol Pete played, so he only played against like a few black guys.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Records before black people were able to play don't count. This is my stance. I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's probably just a different level of competition.
They don't count.
They're white guy records.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we'll see. We'll see where the record
Let's
goes.
segregate our records.
Yes, that's correct. But I think it's worth noting.
Yes,
at the very least,
it counts.
Yeah. But it counts. But it is worth noting.
But I'm going to put an asterisk next to it if I'm writing the records.
So either way, whoever has the
Star right
record,
there.
You're going to put an asterisk next to either one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them have asterisks.
Yes.
Who is currently numbered 2 or 3? That's what I need to look at. I'll look at it. I'll look it up.
Was it? I think. Now I'm thinking. Was I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Coach McDermott's son, Dougie McDermott. Yeah, I thought he was pretty close up the all-time records.
Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah.
Men's college basketball career scoring record. Let's see. Oh, so Dougie is 7th.
7th. All right, that's a little bit far.
Okay.
Behind.
Pete's number 1. Antoine Davis number 2. Freeman Williams from 1974, 75 to 1977, 78.
Who did he play with?
Portland State. Averaged better than 30 points per game in each of his final 3 years, reaching 38.8 as a junior. After scoring 35.9 as a senior, he was drafted number 8 overall by the Boston Celtics. His count.
His count.
He's number one.
Freeman Williams, the guy we've never heard of.
Freeman
he's the
Williams.
best.
He's at 3,249 points.
And I'm sure plenty of you guys have heard of him. We're just a little bit.
All of you have heard of Freeman Williams, obviously.
Yes.
I'm sure they have.
He's one of my favorite.
Chris Clemens of
guys.
Campbell is actually number 4 from 2015 to 2019.
Yeah, there's been a few guys.
5'9" Clemens.
Good for him.
Look at that. I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, I remember a little bit of that.
Very little bit.
Didn't watch the game.
Lionel Simmons, LaSalle is 5th. Alfonso Ford of Mississippi Valley State is 6th. And then Dougie McBuckets, Mike Dahm, 8th.
Nice.
Out of South Dakota State. Harry Kelly out of Texas Southern. And Kydron Clark out of St. Peter's is 10th.
Isn't there somewhat of an asterisk too? I mean, compared to playing the Power 5, not Power 5, but in college basketball, the Power Conference level?
I mean, you would think so, but I'm not
To a
going to put it there. I'm not going to put it there.
Well, I mean, as you go through that list, there's like 8 of
Well,
them.
these guys were on
played at Roast Beef State.
Well, they were on the level of those. They were just much better than them, but they, maybe if they would have gone up to the Power 5, they wouldn't have missed. So this is for it still counts. Shut up.
It's asterisks next to everybody.
Everybody gets an asterisk except for Doug McDermott.
Yes,
obviously.
Doug McDermott, the all-time NCAA scoring leader.
Yep, there you go. We've solved it.
No asterisks needed there.
Nope.
All right, we figured it out. All right, let's take a quick break here on the Ticket Water Cooler. When we come back, again, lots of moves in the NFL. We'll talk about them. Falcons released Marcus Mariota today.
Oh, no.
Carson Wentz has been released. Aaron Rodgers is out of the dark. Lamar Jackson wants a lot of money. There's a lot to go over here, and there's a few spots that are open. So, also, the Bears might trade their first pick for maybe a 5'10" guy in Bryce Young that somebody's going to want.
That checks out.
We'll see. We'll talk about that coming up next year on Ticket Water Cooler, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 23 inventory and have a great section of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to NovotnyNutritionandWellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let me share something to make life just a little easier. It's just one word, Bryant. If we need service on our furnace or AC, we call Bryant. Same thing goes for an electrical issue. If I have a problem with my faucet, a toilet, a drain, or a water heater, I don't need to know how to fix something. I just need to know who to call. And at our house, it's Bryant.
Bryant's Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Just one call. 467-1111. Remember, we do whatever it takes.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests, such as the fecal immunochemical test, FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use with no prep needed, completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Doing so will help you to protect your family and yourself.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day. We may see some clearing late. We'll see a high of around 50. Winds out of the southeast at around 10 to 15. Clearing skies tonight with a low down to around 30. We'll see an increase in cloud cover late in the day tomorrow with a high once again near 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on the Ticket Water Cooler for our final segment of the day. Of course, happy hour coming up next, so we invite Nick Sainert in studio to kind of give us a little bit of preview of what's coming up on happy hour, and of course, in the next couple of days. Nick, are you ready? Have you been not speaking so much so that you can kind of save your voice for the next few days? Well, first of all, turn your mic up.
No, I mean, I feel okay so far. I mean, we're going to be okay. We got Josh and Carter helping me out as well. We're going to be doing just fine.
Get some assistance from Strick.
Yeah, Strick and
Jay next week.
Jay are going to be there. So we got. I mean, only place that I know of that's going to have all 48 games that happen at Pinnacle Bank Arena on one single station.
Right here. Tell your friends. Tell all your friends who are from some of these towns that might not be able to make the drive. Although I'm not sure how many people that are from the smaller towns don't make the drive, especially the teams like the state. But if you know somebody that's not going to make it, tell them about 93.7 The Ticket, and they can listen to the games right here.
I know for a fact that the game I called last night between Southwest and Lincoln East, which was in an incredible atmosphere.
That was electric.
We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes, but just it was a really good night for the city of Lincoln high school basketball last night as well. So we'll dive into that a little bit at the start of the show, but
I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but I listened to the start and the end. And the start, it started off pretty great, and then you started describing the student section. How they had the administrators in between, so they had the student sections right next to each other,
side by side.
That's
and
terrible.
You had administrators.
Uh-oh.
There was 3 of them lined up the section. One at the front, one in the middle, one at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was getting dicey, and I'll have to show you guys there were memes and things sent out and social media posts.
Really?
Sent out that I found an hour and a half before the game, talking about Lincoln East players, and they photoshopped their faces on the posts, and it was
interesting.
It was dicey from the get go.
Shout out to the Spartans though.
Yeah, I mean, great atmosphere. It was the only district final game in boys action that was going on in the capital city yesterday. All the other Lincoln teams had to go on the road, so it was an atmosphere where, once again, if you've ever been to Lincoln East Gym, there's that balcony right below. Like there's a first section of bleachers, then there's a balcony where the people can get up and stuff, and then there's a second balcony. There were people lined up just standing on that balcony because there was no room for them to sit down. It was for them to sit down, and so that forced all the people in the bleachers above to just stand the whole entire game because if they were sitting down,
So they could see.
they couldn't see over them. So you had literally on the opposite side from me, everybody from the bottom where the students were to the top where like just normal, just spectators were
Standing up.
Everybody was standing. And it was, I mean, you had the band up there and my side, I was surrounded. I was sitting next to Baz of the Lincoln Journal-Star, Chris Basnett, and we were just like, man, it's hot in here. Like it was steamy.
Did you wear your quarter zip?
Jump. Yeah.
Oh.
So it was
I
steamy.
think it's pretty hot.
Steamy right from the jump. But the atmosphere was electric. It was like nothing
I saw
pictures.
It was
that's what playoff basketball is supposed to be about, though.
Mhm.
Like postseason basketball, postseason sports in high school, of anything. Hype student sections, great fans.
There was a line out the door before to get in. Was it Baz that recorded it?
Yeah.
It was a line to get in.
It was unreal. It was unreal. I got there at 5:45 for the game that tipped off at 7. And
you were late.
and the first row, or excuse me, the first section that was like behind the benches directly below me was already full at 5:45. And I thought, oh boy.
Tournament fever is hitting the capital city, so we'll look forward to that. I did want to ask you this because, of course, you'll be calling a lot of these games. Some of them might go into overtime. We've had some overtime great games in the last couple of years in tournament action. The NBA is reportedly considering implementing a target score for overtime games. Of course, this has more maybe to do with in the NBA with players sitting out and playing too many minutes and concern there. But obviously, at the NBA level, if they implement it, might pass down. Would you guys like an overtime where it's first to 10, first to 15, something like that, or do you like just keep on playing until somebody wins a set time period?
So that would, make that would turn up the defensive intensity, which is what people are always complaining about. But I don't know how long they've been discussing a target score for overtime, but it seems very reactionary to the Kings Clippers game where Kawhi ended up playing 48 minutes after not playing like half of the season already. It feels very reactionary to that. I don't think you should do that quite yet. I mean, how many games have you seen that go into double overtime that are all the way in the 170s scoring wise? You don't see that very often in the NBA. You don't see that very often really anywhere. So I don't know about target score quite yet. I'd say if it happens a couple more times, then yeah, sure, you could look into doing that. But again, it feels very reactionary to what happened.
I just think, how intense would it be if you had a tip first
100%.
bucket wins?
It would be super intense. Funniest stat of the weekend though that I read was that the Clippers scored 299 points and went 0-2. 299 points over the weekend and they went 0-2. It's crazy.
Sounds about right.
I don't like the idea.
Shout out to Russell and Paul.
Russell Westbrook.
I think the target score works in the NBA All-Star game. I think if you were to put it in the regular season and just make it a normal thing, if you ever got to that point, it would take away, be like, all right, well, now what do we do with the All-Star game to make it where players,
different?
Yeah, to make it different. So I think, like Rico said, very rarely have we seen recently where there's games that get up to the 180, 179, 178 points range. So I'm okay keeping it the way it is.
It's just a different thought. And I think similar to the NFL, they might have to do the deal where, hey, the NFL overtime rules are different once we get to the playoffs. Same thing with the
maybe
NBA.
that's the case. Yeah.
Maybe we should go to ties.
I think here's the thing. Like if we're worried about like load management and if we're worried about all that stuff, focus on controlling that in the regular season. Before you worry about doing it in overtime or in the playoffs. Because, I mean, here's the deal, and I very rarely do I agree with Charles Barkley, but he said something the other day that kind of stood out to me. He said, nobody has an issue with the guys getting paid $30 million. It's that they only play 20 games, but they're getting paid $30 million. And I was like, all right, you know what? Like, yeah, man. That's the problem is that, now, granted, it's not my money, but like if I was a fan of an NBA team where you're paying this dude upwards of 30 mil and he's played 15 games, like what?
I mean, you
why?
see it all the time where you've had fans who let's say they're fans of the Brooklyn Nets and they live in California. They're not going to be able to fly out to Brooklyn very often to catch a game. So they come out to play the Clippers. They come out to play the Lakers. They come out to play the Kings. They do that once a year. You do that, and when they were on the team, KD and Kyrie aren't playing. You spend all that money to go to,
and Ben Simmons isn't playing.
and
now.
Ben Simmons is playing. Who cares? You spend all that money to get the tickets, to get the hotel, to do all this, and then your favorite player isn't even playing.
Yeah.
Like that is the issue that a lot of people are taking. I mean, you look at the All-Star game this year. There were 2 players who had played all of their team's games going into the All-Star game. Both of them got in because people were injured. It was Julius Randle and he plays for the Timberwolves out of Georgia.
Edwards. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards. Those were the only 2, and they weren't even going to be All-Stars.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I understand load management. I understand wanting to save your body, but at the same time, like it's getting a little bit out of hand.
Well, and then you have guys like Nikola Jokic, where I'm convinced that he didn't even like. I know for a fact he didn't want to play in the All-Star game.
He didn't.
He was straight up like, "Don't draft. I want to draft me." And
He's like, I don't play well in games.
You saw it multiple times throughout the game where like they would try to throw a lob to him or throw an alley-oop, and those guys can go up and get it with ease. And Jokic would just not jump. He just would keep his feet on the ground. He's like, I'm not jumping. I don't want to risk injury. I'm not like, this isn't how I play. And so we talked about it after the All-Star game. NBA, or excuse me, it should be said like this. Major League Baseball probably has the best All-Star weekend out of all sports.
Mm-hmm.
NBA, they fixed it temporarily, I think, where they have like the target score and they donate the money to charity and things like that.
The Celebrity All-Star game is the best part of it.
Celebrity All-Star game is great. Like slam dunk, you got to get now. Mac McClung was great, and he probably kept it alive and interest in it for another year or 2.
He'll come back to defend his title.
But here's the thing: like if you can't get Ja Morant or guys like that into the dunk contest, and if Mac McClung doesn't do the one that he had at the end, I'm missing what's the number? It was 720.
Yeah, it was actually 360.
Okay, so
they say it was 720.
Okay, so if he doesn't do that dunk, I mean, what's the dunk that we're talking about? What's keeping that fan engagement back and returning for next season? I don't know the answer.
Jericho Sims, 2 arms in the room
again.
Yeah. I suppose so. So like that's what's crazy is if you can't get guys like Ja Morant or even like an Anthony Edwards,
Zion Williamson,
somebody. But Zion's got injury issues. Like
he said he might do it next year, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. So it's just how do you keep fan engagements?
LeBron in his final year.
And also, like, if you paid attention, like the NBA All-Star game, and you watch the fans' reaction in Salt Lake City,
nothing.
Like little to no. Like,
they're like, yeah.
Oh wow. And nothing as the casual NBA fan that I am, nothing bothers me more than when Luka Doncic was mic'd up. And the announcers were like, Luka, we got to get you the ball, man, because he hadn't touched it in like 3 or 4 straight possessions. And he's like, nah, man, I got my 2 points. I'm good.
Yeah.
And he was like standing at half court. And I go, why am I watching this?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
No, it
was just frustrating.
Yeah. It maybe not quite to the level of a flag football game. Some people think is better, but these All-Star breaks are bad.
At least that was kind of entertaining. Like it's not the football that you want to see, but at least it's supreme athletes playing some type of football.
Yeah.
That wasn't even basketball.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it's bad. So they got some work to do there. I promised some NFL quarterback talk. Maybe you guys can kind of get to it. There's a few moves being made today. We didn't quite hit on Marcus Mariota being released. Carson Wentz also being released. I think those guys are probably in the stopgap quarterback,
sad
spot in their careers.
I like Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Well,
I liked
3
Carson
franchises
Wentz.
didn't like him enough.
I don't want Carson Wentz on the team.
I liked Carson Wentz coming out of North Dakota State.
Carson Wentz back with Frank Reich at Carolina.
Sign me up.
Huh?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I see 0 problems.
Some people think Carolina's a quarterback away, which is
Anthony
Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah, Anthony
Or
Richardson.
it was Will Levis. Trade up to 5, take Will Levis.
There you go. All right, we'll take a quick break here on the ticket. Coming up next will be Happy Hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial.